Hello, hello.
Hi,
Hi, Malar
Vyasa.
Villi. How are you
Good
doing?
afternoon. I'm good, thank you.
Good, huh? Okay. So, yeah, well, yesterday we had some news about, some um, new things and by the PM, you know,
Yes,
some nice gifts to the nation. All right.
yes. And a lot of people are happier.
So, thank you for being around today. Okay, because EQ
Mm,
has been always a topic of mystery to me. Okay, just to let you know, my background is engineering, right? So we learn all the skills, and this part of it, I've been hearing a lot within my new set of friends, where they talk about EQ, emotional intelligence, and I'm thinking, oh, what is it really about?
right.
Aren't we born with emotional intelligence?
Okay.
Aren't we born? Don't we know how to think and act with people? But
Mm,
I was surprised when I spoke to another friend, and he related his life and how lack of certain skills, which I thought he should have,
mm,
is affecting him. All
mm.
right. So today, just everybody, today we have Malar Villi. All right. Let me just read out a little bit about her. All right, for the benefit of everybody here. Okay. So Malar set up Hearts and Minds 20 years ago to run programs based on emotional intelligence principles. She is energized by the work as she believes that there's a hero in everyone. And when you do, let me see, when your best self gets to express itself, the best performance happens. Oh, very nice, very nice. I think you definitely need to elaborate a lot here about this one. Okay, I'm looking forward to hear about this. It's the best articulation of self without indulging into stress. All right. We also like to hear some of the questions I like to ask upfront. Okay, so that maybe you can answer along the journey. Is what is EQ at work? How does lack of EQ affect you at work and at home? All right. And today in the morning, a parent actually shared with me that she's going really crazy with things at home. She never saw this side of herself at home. All right. So maybe you can share a little bit. That will be definitely interesting. So today, Malar will be talking about 5 factors of EQ that will matter in your workplace and of course at home. All right. Over to you, Malar.
Thank you. Thank you, Vyasa. You really made my day. I got to wear my new earrings. Thank you very much. As you
Awesome.
can
Look great.
see, yeah. As you can see, 2 weeks at home, not being able to get dressed to work has taken a toll on
Yeah.
me. All right.
Very
So I'll go. I'll look at it at two levels. Yeah. I will give you what is seen as a professional definition of emotional intelligence. But I am truly a believer. My mind is a very simple mind, right?
okay.
Never been a student, so really simple. I think simple. I think what's really important is for us to internalize and understand what is emotional intelligence, so that we can use it in our daily life, right?
Mm,
And daily life means both home and work. Right? As much
okay.
as I'm going to pay a bit more attention as to what it feels like at work for managers, right? But I am of the belief and opinion, and I've always had trouble with this, that there's only one you, not one Utama. There's only one Malar, there's only one Vyasa, right? Right?
Okay.
Yet I think it's very interesting that people feel comfortable dividing themselves into two or three different people,
Hmm.
right? I
Interesting.
just find it, yeah. And I think it's very stressful doing that, because you need to remember, it's almost like being an actor, right? You need to remember, if you're acting in two movies, you need to remember which persona you want to take on, right? For me, that itself is very stressful, right? Now,
Okay. Okay.
some people do it because it's necessary. But if you really look at people whom you perceive as emotionally intelligent, you will have same experience of them both at work and at home. All right. So that's one. Now, Do we show different parts of ourselves to people? Of course. In spaces where we are more comfortable, more accepted, and we call it psychological safety, right? There's an assumption that we are safer at home, right? It's
Yes.
not true.
Yes.
It's not true for everybody,
Right. Right.
right?
Okay.
It's not,
Yes.
yeah, it's not true for everybody. So I think the
Yes.
idea
Yes.
is this: where you feel safe, right? Your true self comes out,
Mm-hmm.
all right? And my hope for every human is for us to belong to places that we are safe,
All right.
right? And when you're not safe, then you naturally feel stressed,
Yes.
all right? And when you feel stressed, you begin to behave in a way that keeps you safe,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, and
Yes.
that's what we do under stress because our basic instinct is to survive,
Yes.
all right? And that's exactly what we're going through now. We're all trying to survive,
That's true. That's
right?
true.
And at this moment, we might be doing the right things, we may not be doing the right things. And we got to be very forgiving to ourselves because we are stressed. As much as you keep seeing notices, how often do you get to make a difference by staying at home? Some people really want to just go out there and be in action, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of things are easier said than done, yeah. So what is emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence was popularized by this guy called Daniel Goleman. I think it's quite popular out there.
Okay.
And what Daniel Goleman did is that he basically defined emotional intelligence, and he said that he looked at 5 factors in emotional intelligence. All right. So if you want to measure them in terms of skills, and this is the professional definition, you will need to look at the 5 factors. Now, what are the 5 factors? Number one
Okay.
is self awareness. Now, what is self awareness? Do I know first and foremost who I am and who I'm not? Right? I think a lot of times when we talk about identity, we talk about who we are, right? It is also very, I think, apt to understand who we are not, all right?
Interesting.
And
Interesting.
yeah, so your identity of who you are is a combination. Is I need to know who I am and who I'm not. For example, I mean, I'm an extrovert,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Okay.
Some of
Okay.
my introvert friends have tried to convert me. They can
Okay.
continue trying, right?
Okay.
I'm not going to try, but I'm also extremely comfortable with going on a silent retreat where I don't have to talk to people for 5 days. I have no issues with that,
Okay.
right? So
Okay.
you need to know who you are and who you're not. Yeah.
Mm.
Some people call it SWOT analysis, but
Right.
I like to look at it for EQ purposes from the sense of your identity,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Identity is who you truly, really, really are, and the
Right.
person you truly, really are is the person that we meet, in front of the mirror when no one is looking, right?
Mm. Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And when we look at the person in the mirror, uh, your true colors come through, right? Because only you know your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, right? Especially, I think negative thoughts.
Right.
Okay, I think the world can see you positively at any point of time. It's easy to project a positive image to the world, and we all strive to do that. It's good to do that. I'm not
Right.
against positivity, but we
Right.
all know we all have dark sides,
Okay. The dark
right?
side. Mm.
Don't we? Right? So we
Yes.
all have dark sides, right?
Yes.
And I mean, it's a matter of how dark it is, lah. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think it's really to acknowledge and accept you holistically and be the work in progress.
Yes.
All right. And that's self awareness, right?
Mm.
Now, why awareness is important? Because this is the time I tell you we are going to be pushed into corners where we're going to experience discomfort.
Right.
Not having action is uncomfortable because
Right.
we've hide behind actions.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have
Exactly.
found meaning and purpose with being busy.
Mm-hmm.
Being busy is a superhero cape a lot of us wear, especially uh, uh, the professionals,
Yes.
right? Yeah, because if you speak to, say, for example, a homemaker and a working mother, right? The working mother is very glamorously busy. But when a homemaker says she's busy, we have a bit of difficulty. But after this, we'll all change our minds,
Okay. Looking forward
right?
to hear about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So self awareness. Now, then
Yeah.
there's self management. So if I know now, because I have my bright side and my dark side, if I
Okay.
know I am this way, how do I manage it?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, with management is where you need skills. First, I must know that I'm not made in perfection, right? So once I know that, right, I need to know when does my imperfection impact my results and my relationship. Now, me being talkative, if it is not affecting people, it's okay for me to hold on to it, right? Yeah. So I need to know. So I basically say that, you need to know when to accelerate and when to put your brakes on for self management. So the first factor was self awareness. Now, once you know who you are, you need to know how it's going to come out every day in our daily life. How am I going to come across, articulate my identity in the spaces that I have been given permission, that is life, whether personal or professional. Next is, now we all need to know that, I need to come out in an appropriate manner, right? Now, if it's appropriate, then if I'm doing too much of it, do I know how to pause? If I'm doing too little, do I know how to accelerate? And those skills are skills of self management. Do I know when to speak and when to shut up? Right? Now, so that's number two, self awareness, self management. Third one is what we call social awareness. Well, now, what is social awareness? There's a lot of social things happening. I'm not too sure if there's awareness happening, right? Awareness that
Okay.
we're experiencing right now is everybody is forwarding every other message to everybody,
Yes.
okay?
Yes.
With very good intention, but I think we are not thinking, why am I forwarding this message? Is it authentic? How would this make someone feel? For
Mm-hmm.
example, your friend talks to you and says, I'm a little bit worried. There's, things are looking really bad for our company,
Right.
and I'm not too sure whether I'll have a job after this. All right,
Mm-hmm.
and you being
Right.
this very caring friend, you see an article that says, 1 million people are expected to be jobless,
Right.
and you forward it to your friend.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Thinking
so
that
you
it's
need,
going to help him.
yeah, first, so are you so I think people are not thinking in terms of awareness as to, is it, do we really know what we are doing? Do we know what the person is experiencing, right? And the information that I'm going to give, is it really going to help, right? So that is
Okay.
social awareness. Now, the fourth one is, once you're aware, is social skills. Social
Right.
skills is, how do I manage what is happening around me? All right. So whether, again, if you talk about social media or the conversation that you're having, right? Wait, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I think we are living, especially if you are one of the lucky ones who get to be locked in with your family, you'll see all sorts of behaviors coming out, right?
Yes.
Some people are going to be hypersensitive, and there's going to be a hype with anxiety. All
Yes.
right, everything is going to be scary. Slightest or sore throat, they're going to get worked up. Have you seen the
Right.
doctor? Are you dying? And do you have it?
Right.
uh, and you're human too, so you're going to experience emotions as well, right? So social
Okay.
skills is, do you react to that or do you respond to that? All right.
Mm. Okay.
Right, and that's a major thing that we need to ask ourselves. When you're
Right.
stressed, our chances are we'll react to that, because
Mm-hmm.
you're also, you see, I'm also having my own anxiety when I'm having a cough, right?
Yes.
Because I'm now worried, is it a
Right.
normal cough? I mean, with the number of messages you're getting, you don't know whether it's a normal cough or is it that cough, right?
Yes.
I am worried, and then someone says, you better go and see a doctor,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that stress will automatically trigger a reaction, right? And the reaction is coming because I am just showing what I'm experiencing at this point of time, right? So we need to know that our reaction and response is shows our state of being at this point of time. Yeah. So that is relationship management.
Okay. Just a
All right.
question there, right? Just a
Mm.
question. So what's the difference between reacting and responding?
Huh. Okay. So the way I say it is very simple. I wish you were in front of me. So you
Mm,
can try this, right, for fun.
right. Yeah.
If you have your son around you, when you do this, when someone does this to you, what do we immediately do? We
Yes.
move away. Now
Yes.
that's a reaction,
Okay.
right? Now,
Okay.
why do we react? We react because we think it's dangerous and we need to
Yeah.
safeguard ourselves.
That's the
So,
past response.
immediate response that doesn't
Yeah.
involve thinking, and our
Right.
immediate response comes from our past programming
Mm-hmm.
because we have been programmed that when danger comes, you move away,
Right.
right? And
Yes.
so when someone says something, and if I have something against you, for example, let's say I never liked you, yes, sir,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Any feedback you give me, I'll take it negatively. I'll react to it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you
Yes.
see this, you see this
True.
on social media, right?
Yeah.
If they
True.
don't
True.
like a certain person, whatever they say, people have something to say because we are not
Yeah.
objective,
True.
right? So that's a
Yeah.
reaction. Response is very much you have consulted your thinking. So emotional is I may not like you. You may be something, saying something, and I may not like you personally, yes, right? But
Right.
when something good comes from the person you don't like, you tend to immediately reject. Responsiveness is to let it set in and
Right.
then to say to choose what is the final outcome of it. All
Mm.
right. Now our ability to respond during stress has a lot to do with what we have programmed in the past,
Right.
right?
Right.
Because if you're used to thinking in a particular track, when time is short, you will take the shortest track
Yes.
in your brain, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what I mean by responding, right?
Got it.
So that's
Got
a
it. Got
reaction,
it.
yeah, reaction and
Yeah.
response, right? The fifth factor, so the first factor was self-awareness. The second factor was self-awareness, self-management. Third factor was social awareness. Fourth factor is relationship management. And the fifth factor, which is really the most important factor, is motivation.
Mm-hmm.
What drives me to do what I do?
Right.
Okay, my action or inaction is driven by something.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, so sometimes we tend to think that only an action is driven by something. Even my inaction is driven by something. So if I
Right.
chose to disagree with you,
Right.
I can, say, you know what, yes, I disagree with you.
Right.
But just because I'm keeping quiet doesn't mean I agree with you. All right. So me putting up my hand and telling you, yes, I totally disagree with you, may be driven by what I'll call a value. So our motivations are driven by a value. My inaction may also be driven by a value, the value to be safe, right? The value that, if I disagree with you, you may not give me the increment that I want or the bonus that I want. You will blacklist me, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think a lot of people in the corporate world do that, right? So what drives you to do what you do? So that's motivation. All right.
Right.
So for me, in the professional world, I say motivation sits right in the middle for me. Now, why? Because motivation drives your self awareness. All right. We all have time, but how many of us feel driven to want to know why all of this is happening? What's happening with me? Why am I feeling uncomfortable? Why am I losing my temper so much?
Mm.
All right.
That's good.
Here's
Yeah.
here's a good place because all the time we all say no time, right? We hid behind
Mm-hmm.
laziness, right?
Yeah.
Now you're sitting in a corner and you're really feeling uncomfortable with your own company.
Right.
I mean, it's quite sad, right? If you don't
Yeah.
like your own company, how is it everyone else going to enjoy your company, right?
Yes.
Right. So I
Yes.
mean, and it's a good space to think because when you think, you are going to understand a little bit more about yourself, and when
Right.
you understand more about yourself, your identity is going to become clearer.
Right.
right?
right,
And then you say, okay, now that I understand this about me, whether it's a
right,
strength or a weakness, I need
right.
to learn how to either awaken that part in me because it was dormant.
Mm-hmm.
I need to accelerate because I haven't used it,
Right.
all right? Or, I need to put on the brakes
Yes.
because I'm using it too much,
Right.
right? So
Right.
these are some things that we actually can, and now that needs a motivation. What
Right.
value? I mean, think about this, right? I was so inspired with some of the beautiful posts on social media where the retired doctors and nurses and the people in
Mm.
the medical profession
Yeah.
decided to go back and serve the nation.
Yeah. That was really awesome. I mean, hearing about that. I think huge number of nurses and doctors, right?
Right. And it's high risk for them, right?
Right.
But you see, what is driving them to say that this call for me to serve the country is more important than my own life? That's motivation, All
Yeah.
right. And I think all of us get daily opportunities to do that.
Yes. Yes.
But some people get these opportunities at very dangerous times like now,
Yes. Yes.
right?
In fact,
And
in fact,
mm,
sorry. Go
no,
ahead.
you
Go ahead.
no, no, you go.
Okay. In fact, I think during this time, it's a little bit of a solitary confinement,
Mm,
except it's with your family,
mm,
and you get a lot of alone time. You know, you get a lot of time to think. If you get angry fast, then maybe this is a good time to see why you keep getting angry, because it
mm,
happens outside, it happens in the home also, right? If you
mm,
get sad or you get triggered easily, then why is that happening? This is a
mm,
good time to look at it, right?
mm. To look inside.
Yeah, to look inside.
Yeah, to look inside. Yeah. So those are the five factors in emotional intelligence from
Yeah,
Dan and Goleman's perspective.
right.
I'm basically going to say for those people who are simple-minded like me, if you're a layperson, now there was a question from I think Sumadi to say, what do I do with someone who has got low emotional
Oh yeah,
intelligence?
yes, I saw that
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
So my question to her before I answer that is, how did you derive that someone has got low emotional intelligence?
Okay, yeah, that's a good
Right?
question. Yeah,
It's like telling, someone who can't read and write.
yes.
You are saying that they are not intelligent. That's not true because they never went
Okay,
to school. So
right,
they have not found a way to articulate that part, the academic intelligence that you're talking about.
right.
But they would be able to do a lot of other stuff that we can't do,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah,
when it comes to emotional intelligence, my belief about emotional intelligence, and I don't think there's any data against it. I don't think so.
right.
Unless you're born with a physical condition,
Okay,
right?
right.
Physical condition is mentally a part of your brain is missing, not working, got stuck, right?
Okay,
If
right,
unless you have a physical condition, I do think that everyone, as long as we are human, and this is emotional intelligence is uniquely human, right?
right. Yeah,
We all have emotional intelligence. Whether
yeah,
we choose to use it or we're not using it, I
right,
think that's the question. It's not
right,
whether
right,
you have it or not,
right, right,
right?
right.
So
Okay,
what is emotional intelligence?
yes,
Emotional intelligence is basically, so if you look at emotions and intelligence, right?
right.
Emotions is what on a day-to-day layman term we say feelings, right?
Feelings,
Now, feelings,
feelings.
feelings,
Okay,
right? That's,
feelings.
I mean, we
Okay,
use it interchangeably. I'm not using the
yes, yes,
scientific. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So,
right,
so emotion is when you're feeling. We have different sort of feelings, and that differentiates us, right?
right,
Yeah. I mean,
right.
can you imagine people are praying for people whom we have never met in life?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
right? And that's
right,
feeling, right? All
yes,
right. Now, what is intelligence? Now, IQ is measured. So when you go for an IQ test, which I would never dare,
yeah,
right? Even when I wouldn't dare. When you go for an IQ test, what happens is that they look at how you process what I call logical
right.
information quickly and correctly.
Okay,
You need to be quick, you need to be correct also. Rather, you need
right,
to be correct first and then you got to be quick. So
right,
the faster you are, assuming you're correct, you will be quick.
right.
And the faster you are, you have higher IQ.
Okay,
Now, EQ is very simple. Your emotion is data.
Okay.
Your emotion is telling you the story you have told yourself.
Okay.
Now, you
Okay.
need to check whether that emotions,
Mm-hmm.
whether you have processed the story that was
Right.
happening
Mm-hmm.
first correctly,
Mm-hmm.
whether you've processed it correctly,
Right.
and can you do that quickly?
Okay.
All right. So, for
All right.
example, again, yes, I'm going to use you for all negative examples. Okay.
Oh no. Okay.
Please, we'll make up later. Now, let's say, let's say, I, for some reason, I think you don't like me.
Yeah.
I have,
Again.
you don't like
Again.
me. Yeah, yeah, low self-esteem. So let's say I think you don't like me, right? And then
Okay.
you
Right.
happen to be in a meeting with me,
Yeah.
right? And
Right.
then, as you're in a meeting with me, you
Right.
disagree with my idea.
Okay.
Now, what happens is there'll be so many things going on. I'll focus on, you see, this fellow Red doesn't like me. That's
Right.
why he disagreed with my idea.
Okay.
All right.
Right.
He discriminates me because I'm a woman,
Right.
or he
Things like
discriminates. I mean,
you can
so
keep thinking about a lot of different things, reasons, and all that, right?
right. And so
Yeah.
what's happening is that what happened was you disagreed with my idea.
Okay.
That's what
Just that.
happened.
No, that's a
That's all.
fact.
That's a
Yeah.
fact. That's the
Yeah.
event, right? But what I've
Yeah.
done is I've dramatized it in my head. See,
Yes.
I knew Vyasa didn't like me. He always has to disagree with me. Now, so when I perceive and put that information into my system,
Right.
it's going to cause me emotions, right? So if I think you are purposely disagreeing with me because you don't like me, what am I going
Mm-hmm.
to feel? I'm going to
Yeah.
feel anger towards you. I'm going to feel irritated towards you.
Yeah. Although you just stated a fact and that you disagree to something, right?
Yeah. So there's
Mm.
a lot of what I call our own lenses that we look at the world with our own lenses. So if you
Yeah.
have sad lens or negative lens, right?
Mm.
I will say unclear lens lah. Maybe
Yes.
not.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So if your
Mm-hmm.
lens is unclear,
Right.
everything will look unclear for you. So first
Right.
is to have an accurate perception of what's happening.
Right.
Now, if so, how do I do that? If I think Vyasa doesn't like me, the first question I'm going to ask is, how do I know it's true?
Right.
What evidence do I have to know it's true? Now, and the thing is about positive thinking is this, right?
Mm.
Uh, Even if you have a positive thinking, I'll ask you to question it.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you can question a negative thought thinking,
Yeah,
you should also question positive thinking because you can
it's
be just
very
only
important.
positive, right, for everything.
No, but you know why? In meetings, I've seen this happen, right? There are
Mm-hmm.
some fellas when the boss is talking, it's like, yes, boss, yes, boss, yes, boss. You know
Mm.
why? Because I know my boss has got a big fat ego,
Mm-hmm.
my perception.
Right. Right.
Okay? Now, if my
Yeah.
boss has a big fat ego, if I
Right.
disagree with him, what's going to happen? I'm going to get into trouble.
Yeah. True.
So I have programmed myself, whatever my boss says, I say, yes, boss. So the
Mm.
boss need to start thinking when everybody agrees with you,
Right.
whether they are really agreeing with you, because they have
Yes.
whether they
Yes.
have a basis to agree with you.
Right.
All right. So in fact, when we go into when clients have a need, so typically, when we do a team building program, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
what I love watching is I like to watch how they run meetings.
Right.
All right. So there are two types of meeting, like families lah. So if
Yeah.
you observe families when you have
Yes.
dinner, you
Right.
look at the children,
Right.
how they behave. All right.
Okay.
So there
Okay.
are some homes which still operate like army camps, right? You come, you sit down, you eat, you don't talk,
Yeah. True.
right?
True. True.
Now, and a lot of parents take a lot of pride, and I don't think it's
Right.
wrong to take pride because
Right.
I can't take pride like that.
Right.
My children are so well behaved. My son, you know what? He's 27. He never disagrees with me. Even
Mm.
if before he goes out with a girl, he has to get the permission from the mother and father.
Wow.
Never grew
That
up.
that's
Huh?
dangerous.
But you see, people take a lot of pride because there's obedience, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, in fact, the word obedience is to understand first and then to obey. not
Yeah.
to obey blindly,
Right. Right.
right?
Right.
So I think we have forgotten the understand part, right?
Right.
I say
Right.
you do, right?
Right.
So you have, and in organizations, you also have people who don't disagree with the boss,
Mm-hmm.
correct? Now, I'm
Yes.
not saying go out there and disagree for the sake of disagreeing. I'm not saying
Yeah.
that, right? But
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying that um, I'm just saying that we need to be aware that when people are very quiet, when people all agree, I know when I'm running a team building program, my job is to stir them to speak what is under the table.
Right.
The real issues, whether it's families, any form of relationship,
Mm.
it can be friendship, it can be family, it can be work, right? What
Right.
is going to make us come out as champions is the issues that we hide under the table, the
Mm.
issues that we are afraid to bring up and talk because we are often afraid that people will withdraw from the relationship. A lot of us are in what we call emotionally blackmailing relationship. If you speak the truth, I don't want to friend you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you have young children, they will tell you, my friend
Yes.
won't friend me if I don't give him money, if I don't share my food, if I don't do
Yes.
this. So we start emotional blackmailing at a very young age,
Yes. Yes.
right?
I suppose it's quite natural, right? I mean, it's a naturally occurring thing that people sometimes emotionally blackmail, the other.
I I'm I won't say it's natural. No, I will.
Okay.
I think we've been trained that way because
Okay.
I think one of those things, especially in this part of the world
Yeah.
and with traditional cultures,
Right.
we have confused the idea of identity,
Right.
right? Because you've been drummed that, for example, in some cultures, we are drummed that if you talk back to your parents, you'll go to
Right.
hell,
Mm-hmm. True.
correct?
True. True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
There are that one. Yeah.
if I mean, think about people who are struggling with their spiritual life or their religious life because they cannot go to the temple and the church and the mosque. I mean, it's a struggle for them because they left God there. But it's
Mm.
years of programming.
Right.
I think God is giving us, for those who believe in God, God is giving us an opportunity to recognize that it's good you go to church and temples and mosques, but you know what, I am with you,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
I mean, we say it, but whether we believe it is a different thing, right? So
Yes.
with parents, I think so there's been a lot of years of programming.
Yeah.
All right. I
Yeah.
have parents who will come to me and say, my son wants to have a earring,
Right.
teenage son.
Right.
I told him, over my dead body. I said, you no need to kill yourself for a earring. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not saying allow it, don't allow it. I think that's
Yeah.
our personal choice.
Yes.
But
Yes.
but I think we take adults or people who are older
Right.
or people who are more powerful. When we are
Right.
in power, we abuse the power by not allowing people to be themselves.
Mm.
And the
Mm.
power that is given to us is sometimes as parents, sometimes as older siblings,
Right.
sometimes in senior positions as managers, CEOs, and leaders,
Right.
sometimes in very, very high positions of the religious order.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, listen to Spider
Yeah.
Man. He says, with great power comes great
That's great.
responsibility,
Yeah.
right? But we have power bestowed upon us, but are we using that power responsibly, or are we using it to stump people? Are we using that to control people,
Right.
right? That I mean, this is a modern kind of slavery that we're talking about,
Yes.
right? So I think that's basically it. To say that, do I believe it's natural? No, I don't think it's natural. I think we program. I have met people, I'll call them either illiterate or have had low education, right?
Right.
There's so much to learn from them, right? I've learned so much about motherhood from my mom, who's illiterate. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, even though I'm fighting with her, every time I have a problem with my children, the first thing I'll ask myself is, okay, what would my mother have done?
Right.
Because she's so brilliant with what I call her common sense. Lah.
Mm.
She's so brilliant, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't mean I agree with everything she says, no, but
Yes.
given her circumstances, she's so brilliant,
Right.
right? She can think of how to manage different things. So, and you would find that when you talk to really very simple people out there, they can actually give you so much of wisdom
Yeah.
because they think about it. I think sometimes
It
education makes us take things for granted. We
must be a
assume
thunderstorm there,
there's a thunder.
right?
Uh, I hope you're at a safe place.
Yeah, I'm
Are
good.
you safe?
I'm good. Sir.
I'm also safe.
It's still
Yeah.
bright and sunny here.
Okay. So I hope everyone else is safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we tend to sometimes, just because I went to school, I think I'm emotionally intelligent.
Hmm.
Just because I am a woman, I should know how to cook.
Mm-hmm.
It's not true, right?
Right.
So you basically have skills that you practice. If you pay attention to your emotions, which you had
Right.
from the time you were born,
Right.
if you grew in an environment where you were allowed to talk about it,
Right.
right? And if you are around relationships where emotions are central,
Right.
important, accepted, and embraced, you will find
Right.
these are people who are emotionally very intelligent.
Right.
Not because they went for a course, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because what you'll
Mm.
find that if you grow up in a situation where you always were stressed and you didn't feel safe, couldn't talk back to my mother, couldn't talk back to my father, couldn't give my opinion because I was the youngest child, middle child, whatever child, or I was a girl in the family, and then I go to school, I'm not allowed to speak because I'm not an A student, right? So there were so many reasons why people shut us up, right?
Right.
Yeah. And if you
Yeah.
grow in that environment, you learn how to survive.
Yeah.
And when you learn how to survive, you learn how to block out the real you, right?
Mm.
Because
By
you're not
surviving.
going, yeah, because the need was survival, right?
Right. Right.
Right. And I'm not going to blame you because you needed to survive. That is the right thing to do.
Yes.
Yeah. So then,
Yes.
even though I'm feeling hurt, I will not tell you I'm feeling hurt. Um, I have to tell you. So one of the there's this lady, you can find her on Facebook, and you should interview her, Dr. Anasuya. Now, I was attending a talk, and one question they asked is that why children, how parents, especially mothers, they're very careful. We want the
Yeah.
children to tell us all the truth, especially the deep, dark secrets,
Yes.
because we value how important we are if our children tell us the deepest, dark secrets,
Yeah.
right? So, what Dr. Anastasia said is this, right? Have you ever thought that your children are afraid to tell you the truth because they're afraid to hurt you?
Mm.
And that has resonated a lot with me,
Right.
right? Because we don't think about what the children are experiencing. We are very selfish,
Right.
I want to feel like I'm in charge, so you tell me, right? So what happens
Mm-hmm.
is that when you're stressed and you have a need to protect yourself, and that's rightly
Right.
so,
Right.
right?
Right.
What we do is we learn how to draw walls around us.
Mm-hmm.
What we are supposed to learn in difficult situations is that we need to learn how to draw boundaries.
Right.
But instead of boundaries, we build walls.
Okay. What is a boundary and what's a wall?
Okay, so what's a boundary between one state to another state? Can you see it?
Right.
But you know it, right?
Uh. Yeah. Correct. It is
Correct?
just a imaginary line.
It is a line that is necessary to keep the relationship in a safe space.
Right.
I
Okay.
so our boundaries with some relationship you may not have boundaries.
Okay.
You can say whatever you want, right? With some relationships we have boundaries, right? I mean, you won't invite your friends to come and stay with you all the time,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
So we all have all these boundaries in relationships, right? But
Okay.
sometimes when it comes to negative experiences, when someone has hurt you, or you feel someone didn't keep up to their word, then what happens is happens is that you, instead of building boundaries to safeguard yourself, you build walls. Now,
which
when
is
you build
permanent.
walls, yeah. So when you think about building walls, right? What happens when you build a wall? I build a
Yes.
wall because now I am so safe in my castle
Right.
or my prison,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you know what? When I'm so safe in my castle or prison, I know that you can never touch me, you can never hurt me.
Right.
But you see, as much as if you live in a castle or a prison, I rather call it a prison, you might not be able to hurt me, yes, but I would also not be able to receive any love.
Mm-hmm.
So you will find that some people feel very, very safe by talking objectively.
Right.
Let's just keep to the facts. Don't bring emotions. Leave your feelings at the gate,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Okay.
these are things that, oh, you're a man, don't be so sissy lah. Right?
Mm.
You're a man. How can you cry? I mean, you're a man. Did you check that or not?
Right.
Right?
Right. Right.
How can you cry? Right? We say this to our sons,
Yes.
right? And I think these are the things that we actually do, and we don't teach our children to how to build boundaries.
Right.
So we teach people how to build walls,
Mm. Okay.
right?
How do
And
you build boundaries instead of walls?
I think first and foremost, you need to be. For me, the part of the identity is very clear.
Okay.
Okay, so maybe I'll tell you two things that helps. So I think there are two things human beings want. Okay, and I'd love to hear anyone who disagrees with me because it'll give
Okay.
me a lot more thoughts to think about.
Right.
One is we all want to be known, to be differentiated.
Mm-hmm.
I am the only Malar Villi who has ever walked on earth. Full stop.
Right.
Whether you believe in Adam and Eve or whether you believe you evolved, there's only one Malar Villi with my DNA.
Okay.
So we want to be differentiated.
Right.
Now, so you want to be yourself. You don't want people telling you who you are. You want to define yourself.
Right.
We don't like to be compared.
Right.
You agree, right? Now,
Mm-hmm.
on the other hand, Malarvini can't live alone. She
Mm-hmm.
has to integrate with the community, with the society, with the family to have
Right.
relationships. Because
Right.
without relationships, we will die, full stop.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Science says,
Yeah.
all right, babies who are not touched will die.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
We are a
So,
social animal.
yeah,
We need to be social.
I'm not too sure whether I'll use the word social animal. So if you look at the mammals, right, it's not so much,
Right.
we don't socialize
Right.
because it's fun. We socialize to survive. The
Right.
herd mentality is a survival mentality.
Right.
It's not a loving mentality.
Okay. Okay.
It's
Okay.
like
It's a survival mentality. Lah.
yeah. I mean, if you think about it, right? So a lot of times we tend to say, and this is a controversial one. Some people are going to hate me for this, we say, oh, parents' love is unconditional.
Right.
Really, we expect so much from
Mm.
our children, isn't it?
Right. Right.
Yeah, we
It,
expect a
it
lot.
is conditional, lah, actually.
It is. Right. I have, however, seen unconditional love among parents. The ones
Right.
that I have witnessed is, those parents who have special children.
Right.
Oh my God, that is really, I think, uh, having a visual of how God's unconditional love can be. I
Mm.
mean, imagine having to treat your child as a baby for the rest of your life.
Yeah. That's
That's
tough.
the closest. Yeah, yeah. But they do it, and some of them do it with so much of joy.
Yeah.
And so
Oh,
for me,
yeah.
that's the yeah. So yeah, I think that's the part that we tend to we have expectations we need to accept, and it's okay to have expectations.
Right.
No one said you shouldn't have expectations.
Right. Right.
Be a normal human being before you decide to become a yogi or an angel or beyond that lah.
Right.
Before
Right. Right.
you recognize your spiritual being. All
Right.
right. Yeah.
Okay. Some Q&As coming up.
Mm.
Some
Okay.
questions coming up already on the screen.
Okay. Which one do
Okay,
you want to answer first?
yeah, let's just go to first questions by Sumati, who sent a question earlier, much earlier, which is someone has low EQ. Can something be done to increase their EQ?
Can
All
knock
right.
their head.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think the question is very much. I have met people with low EQ. These are what
Okay.
I call shock sendiri people lah.
Right. Right. Right.
Shock
And
sendiri
how do
means
they know? How does someone know that they have low EQ?
I don't know whether they know or not because you see, I am very confident in this situation, right? So for
Yeah.
me, is if I meet someone with low EQ, and I have worked with some people who have low EQ, the
Yeah.
first thing is people with low EQ need to be able to accept feedback.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they knew they had low EQ and if they thought EQ was important and if it was affecting their relationship and results,
Mm-hmm.
they would care to change.
Okay. So one of the ways people can know they're having low EQ is the surrounding. People are not
Feedback.
getting what feedback lah. So the
One
feedback
is
is
results. Sorry, Avia.
yeah.
So one is
Sorry.
results, but I'm not too sure whether that works because some people will. So it all depends what I believe. Like, say, for example,
Right.
I have no friends.
Okay.
So, now when I run conferences, one of the very common question about mental being questions, mental well-being questions, people ask me is, I have no one to talk to.
Right.
I mean, I feel sorry for you, yes, but have
Mm-hmm.
you ever thought, how come you can't make one good friend? What's your
Mm.
contribution in it?
Right.
Instead of sounding the whole world is bad towards me, have you ever
Right.
wondered why people find it difficult to being around you?
Yeah. Okay.
Right, so
That's a
I
good
think we
one.
need
Yeah.
to ask we need to ask ourselves that question. We need to really look hard in the mirror, and if you can't see it, go
Right.
and ask not your friend but your enemy,
Mm.
because they will tell you
Mm.
the truth, uncensored truth.
Right. They don't have
Your
anything to lose. Sir.
Yeah, your friends will coat it with sugar and icing. You'll eat the cake and forget about it.
Right.
You might miss so it's really good to have people either who are very brave, friends who are very brave, who will tell you the truth, and they are amazing friends. I mean, you have brave friends
Yes.
who will
Yes.
tell you,
Yes.
oh, yeah, brave
Yes.
friends are very good.
Yes.
So brave friends, but also remember what I have learned is that some friends will come and tell me, Malar, okay, since you talk about feedback, tell me the truth, right? After I tell
Mm.
the truth, they stop being friends now. I have also lost friends because I can't keep my mouth
Right.
sit,
Right. Right.
right. Have lost
Okay.
clients as well.
Okay.
So I think we need to discern whether people are really looking for feedback or not. So
Yeah.
one way I discern now is that when people ask me for feedback, I observe them a little bit to see whether they are really seeking self improvement.
Mm.
If they are not seeking,
Yeah.
I have chosen not to give feedback.
Right.
Yeah,
Understand. I
I've,
think.
I've
Yeah.
I've also learned not to give feedback when you are not asked.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's difficult for an extrovert, but I can do it now.
Okay.
Okay,
So we
next
have another
question.
question.
Mm,
Okay, this is related to the question now from Farida in LinkedIn.
mm.
And how do we know if we need to develop our emotional intelligence?
Wow. Do a test, no? I will ask you one way of really defining the simple way is that ask yourself, do you at least have 3 to 5 friends whom you can
Okay.
call
Right.
at any point of the time in the day without asking their permission?
Hmm.
That's for me the
Okay.
simplest one. Huh?
Okay.
Do you
That's
have
interesting.
friends? Yeah, because some of us say, I was in another group and they were saying, how we've become a society that needs to ask permission before we call. Can I call
Mm-hmm.
you now? Can you speak?
Right. Right. Right.
I think so sad. That's why befrienders and all there are many calls.
Because you don't have to tell them that you're going to call them, right?
Yeah,
You
and
just
then
have to pick up the phone and call them.
so can you imagine the walls that we have actually put up in our families?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I hope my friends can call me whenever they want. Right? Anyway, that's a
Yeah.
message to all my friends. If you need to call me, just call me, okay?
Okay.
All right. Yeah. So how do you
Okay.
know if you need to develop? So one is ask yourself the type. So one very good gauge of people who are emotionally intelligent is number one, you have good, genuine, high performing relationships.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
so high performing relationships in your personal life, right? Now, professionally, the ones that I've seen of managers and leaders who are emotionally intelligent, the people have a lot of respect for emotionally intelligent managers. I'm not talking about likability factor.
Right.
People like you because of your personality,
Right.
but people respect you for the way you are and for the way you respect them.
Mm-hmm.
So
True.
that's another way of looking at it. Otherwise, just Google one of this EQ tests and do lah. And when you get
EQ
your
test
result,
online.
yeah, yeah, there are so many EQ profiles,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And an easy test would be whether you have awareness. Do you know who you are, who you're
Mm.
not?
Okay.
Yeah. Are you able to? So, are you the type who says, "Ayo, I cannot change. I
Right.
know I need to be more disciplined, but I cannot like be like this my whole life." The
Right.
doctor told me, I need to take less sugar, but cannot lie, I will die without sugar.
Right. Right.
Right? Are you blaming the whole world? Or are you
Right.
taking more responsibility? And there are so many checks that we can do for self awareness
Right.
and self management. Social
Right.
awareness, how do you respond to people around you? Do
Right.
I think one feedback, if your social awareness is low and social skills
Right.
are low, we hear this often. I've got this feedback as well, especially my
Right.
children,
Right.
where they
Right.
tell you you are not listening.
Okay.
My daughter used to do this amazing thing when she's talking to me, and I'm got yama yama. She will just hold my face and say, "Ma, look at me and listen." So she used to do that, right? And that's really great feedback about
Yes.
not being
Yes.
present and listening. Yeah,
Yes.
skills.
Yes.
And motivation is very much this, right? I mean, we do soft skills programs, so sometimes we get calls. Can you come and motivate our people?
Right.
No one can motivate anyone.
Right.
I think what we
Okay.
can do is we get motivated by what we read, what we see, what we hear, because it switches on the button that was in you, something that you were searching.
Right.
But for you to be switched on, you need to search,
Right.
right? You need to be living. Like, a lot of people just exist and like wake up in the morning, do the routine, and get on with
Okay.
life. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Next one.
Okay. Few questions coming up. Some more.
Mm.
From GD Naidu, our friend from
Oh,
LinkedIn.
my wonderful friend, scary friend.
Yes. Okay. And then he has two questions actually. So first one is, has there? We got just a few more questions and about
Sure.
10 more minutes. All right.
Okay.
So we'll go a little bit faster here now. And then from GD Naidu is, has there been ever a time where you felt you needed to change your behavior at work, and how did you do it? How do you do it? Yeah.
So many lah. I think GD,
Okay.
you're expecting to hear my deep dark secrets. I'll do that over coffee or one-on-one Zoom in. I'm not making a public confession now. But typically me, I mean, I'm on my own, right? I'm on
Right.
my own. Some people call me a business owner. I think I'm self-employed because
Okay.
no one will employ me. To to be self-employed, to be on your own, if
Mm-hmm.
you don't shift your behaviors, you're not going to survive. People are not going to give you work.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We're
Okay.
not a large company where our what you call it, salary packages and privileges are great.
Right.
Right. The only reason people work with us, hearts and minds, is because they believe in our mission. They
Mm.
believe in the meaning of the work that we do.
Mm-hmm.
We wake up every day, every one of us in Hearts and Minds, or who's associated to Hearts and Minds, uh, we are here by choice,
Okay.
not by chance.
Okay.
Um, you know, I mean, really, there is really no other reason why people will want to work in our company. We are very,
Okay.
very small, right? But
Okay.
and we work with clients. Our clients have been with us. Some clients. almost 20 years, right?
Wow,
Yeah, yeah,
awesome.
that's one of those things that I feel very, very privileged and proud, right?
Yeah,
So we need to ask ourselves if we don't change now. So
right,
if you want an ongoing relationship, naturally I have to make changes from the feedback. So
right.
you need to build good relationships. The
Mm-hmm.
foundation is relationships for me at
Right,
work,
right. Okay,
in life lah, right?
okay.
For me, work and life is not different. That's me,
Right,
right?
right,
uh, if I have a relationship with you, I'll work with you. If I don't have a relationship with you, then it's really challenging,
right.
right? So for me, with new clients, I look at how to build a relationship first. I need a
Right,
basis of relationship, number one.
right,
Number two, then you look at feedback,
right.
right? And for someone like me who just love to be loved, feedback
Yeah,
is painful, right?
yeah.
So it's very painful. And if anyone thinks receiving feedback is easy, it's not, right?
It's not.
Uh,
Yeah, it's
it's
not.
not. But you see, feedback should be painful, because if feedback is painful, that means you care about who you are.
Right, right.
If negative feedback doesn't affect you, that means you don't care about who you are. Now,
Mm,
provided the people who are giving you feedback know what they're talking about.
yeah.
So this is where you draw your boundaries now. So I mean, I told you I'm terrified of doing live, right, or
Mm-hmm.
videos. I've
Yes,
been, I'm trying to gain courage to do videos now. Why?
yeah,
Because there's going to be all sorts of things that people are going to say,
yeah. True, true. Some will
right?
like it, some won't like it.
Mm. All
Yeah.
right. And you need to have an attitude about it. I realize lah. So if you people, people who don't like me, my question is very simple. Do I know them? Do they know me? If they don't know me,
Yes,
it's okay lah. You don't have a reason to like me also,
yes.
right?
Correct,
But
correct.
if people who know me, and again, which part of me they know, right? If you truly, yeah, if you've just seen me on Facebook, of course you see all the nice things on Facebook, right?
Yeah,
But if you don't know me and if you don't like me, I think it's only fair. Like, it's your right not to like me. So if people
right,
say I
right.
didn't like you, I will say it's okay.
Yeah,
Not because I don't care. You don't know me. So what is there for me to expect anything from you? Now, if
exactly,
now
exactly.
if I get feedback from someone I care, I love, I respect, now that's going to hurt me,
Yeah,
and that hurt is necessary for me to grow.
yeah,
Because if I
exactly.
truly care for the relationship, I need to ask myself, am I willing to grow and change? Because change means growth,
Right. And change
right?
is painful, right? Sometimes.
Growth is, um, again, lah, is perception. Lah.
Yeah, yeah.
I think we've dramatized a lot. I'm quite a drama queen. So
Can
it's
see
been,
that
I
now.
mean, yeah. It's a bit of but really, you need to ask yourself, is it painful or you're dramatizing the pain? Lah? I
That's
think
another one. Yeah,
it's necessary. It's like the Tamil movies when they give birth to children, right? They
right.
dramatize the pain. I think a lot of people become horrified about having children,
Yeah, yeah,
right? Yeah, but it's sometimes the drama plays in your head to say that, oh no, she said this about me, which means that she's not going to love me. She's not going to, So there's a lot of drama in the head. Just need to
yeah,
get rid of the drama, lah.
right, right.
Okay, so
Okay, so last
Jimmy,
question
yes,
from
yes.
GG again. Gini
Again,
Nandu.
not allowed. Only one question allowed. Okay, what's
Yeah.
has there ever been a time? Yeah. So how did I do it? So feedback, number one. Number two.
Okay,
Uh,
just let me say the question out for everybody. It's
mm,
like it's when your child always want to tell you something, but they never have. So how do you handle that situation?
my children always have secrets.
Right.
Okay. So what I've learned is this: if my children have a secret, I have given them permission to have secrets.
Yeah. I think that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. My feedback for me is that, what do I need to be so that my child feels that I will not judge him?
Hmm.
What do I need to become so that my child doesn't feel judged? Because if he
Right.
doesn't feel judged, he will
Yeah.
tell,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Uh, And also maybe my kids need to know that I'm not so fragile lah.
Right.
Okay.
That you can
And
handle it.
you can handle it. It's because sometimes we are overreact, especially mothers, we overreact to smallest. What, you lied to me, uh
Yeah.
you need to be cool. I mean, we need to act cool at least lah inside,
Yeah.
right?
Correct.
So I
Right.
think I think so we need to ask ourselves. I mean, I think if you're a parent, the best thing to do is remember yourself as a child.
Right.
If you had someone you could run to share your secrets,
Right.
your dark secrets,
Yeah.
you stole the pencil, you took
Yeah.
this, you did this naughty stuff, and you feel bad about it or good about it, and the person you ran to tell, you
Mm-hmm.
need to ask, what did that person do for you, or what was that person to you that you felt that it was okay?
Yeah.
And I think we just need to do that. But for me, the easiest one, because every child is different, every human is different. I ask this question to my children when they have secrets. I have a teenager. Can you imagine the number of secrets she has now?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So the question I ask my children is, so first I give them boundaries, what
Yeah.
they can be secretive about and what they
Yeah.
shouldn't, and
Yeah.
why.
Yeah.
Because I tell them whatever happens, I'm the one who's going to come to your rescue. Just get it, all
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
At one level,
Yes.
at the other level, and you need to do that for them.
Right. Right.
Show them that you will do that for them,
Yeah.
right? I think the next thing is, really, I ask my children, if you could tell me the secret, what do I need to become
Right.
so that you would tell me,
Mm.
all right?
Yeah.
Uh, and it works. It will take years, but it will work. If you start
Interesting.
now, and by the time they become teenagers, they might tell you.
Mm. Okay.
Secrets in childhood
I'll
doesn't
keep that
matter.
in my mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. All
So
right.
we're coming to an end soon. Okay. Mother, you also wanted to share some of the webinars that you're going to do, right? On
Yeah.
your with hearts and minds. Maybe you want to share it out before we close this show today.
All right. So, as an extrovert who doesn't like to stay at home and who loves to talk,
Yeah.
uh, we've decided EQ is actually really crucial now, especially during this period
Right.
where we are going to be home, all right,
Right.
and when we get back, all right.
Mm-hmm.
So we run two programs which is very close to our hearts. One is emotional intelligence and well-being.
Okay.
So emotional intelligence, well-being, and resilience. These are the
Okay.
three major programs that's crucial at this point of time.
Okay.
So we're gathering our guts to do videos
Okay.
and
Yeah. This is one of your
gathering
earlier
our
ones.
yeah. So we're getting our guts to do the videos,
Right.
and we're going to
Awesome.
do
Awesome.
videos in modular form. We're
Okay.
going to do Zoom webinars.
Awesome.
So
Okay.
if you are interested,
Yeah.
please just DM me so that
Yeah.
I will pass you the link, because we want to do it in small groups because we think the
True.
conversation is important, right?
True.
Yeah, if you don't like me, really, please don't come into Zoom, because I'm like more I misbehave more on Zoom, right? But otherwise, Vyasa, thank you so much. So, sorry, PM me, DM me either on LinkedIn or on Facebook,
Yeah.
Hearts and Minds
Yeah.
Development, yeah, right?
Okay.
And then,
And I've given your I've given your contacts here also for
yeah,
LinkedIn and Facebook. I look for Malar Villi.
yes,
I've
Malar
already
Villi from yes.
right.
All right. Thank you
Okay.
so much, Vyasa, for giving me a voice, giving me a chance to wear my earring and my bright color. I'm feeling bright now. Thank you so much for your time and for this opportunity.
Thank you too for sharing all that you have shared. I think it's wonderful. And for all the audience here, whoever is here, just give her a like, a thumbs up, and so that she knows you guys are listening in. Thank you so much, audience, and thank you very much, Malar, for being with us today. And I think I learned a lot about EQ. I've always heard about it, but you know, never really got my head around the word EQ. So now, at least I get a reasonably good picture. So thank you very much. I'll see you again. All right. Bye
Oh,
bye.
thank you. See you. Bye.